Hello everyone, it's Micah. Welcome to our Wednesday reaction series where we are going through each of the number one Hot 100 hits of the 1980s. This week we are fully with both feet in the year of 1982. The first standalone 1982 number one single was Hall Oates. This will be the third time we've reacted to them. They were on quite a roll in the early 80s. And the song I Can't Go For That, No Can Do. And the reason I say the first fully 1982 number one is because the first number one of the year started its reign in late 1981, and that was Olivia Newton-John's Physical, which spent 10 weeks on top of the charts. Hall & Oates only managed 1 week in January of 1982 before they ceded control of the number one spot. But this was the third number one hit of the early 80s for the duo, and so they were probably, and I think they're the first ones to get to three number ones, unless I've forgotten about somebody, because we did start way back in December with the very first number one of the decade, and I think they're the first ones to get to a third number one. So far, Hall & Oates are doing fairly well in terms of my reactions. They're sort of they're 1 and 1, we'll put it that way. Yet right before Physical, Private Eyes was number one in November of '81. So the fact that they took basically 2.5 months between number one hits, that's still pretty quick. I thought that Private Eyes was a good video and a great song, very catchy. If it did sort of belabor the point or the central theme of the song a bit, but it's such a good nugget of melody and such a good lyrical idea for a song that I didn't begrudge them hammering it home over and over again. The first one we listened to was Kiss on My List, which we reacted to back in May, two and a half months ago, and that was number one from April of 1981, and that was Kiss on My List. I wasn't as thrilled with that song. The live performance wasn't the best quality in terms of the video itself, and the video quality, and it wasn't. Also, I don't think was a strong vocal performance for Daryl Hall. It seems like it was from the end of a show and he was tired. So, I may owe that one another listen. But here we are with reaction number 3. This is I Can't Go For That, No Can Do. a few thoughts on this. I believe that I have heard this song all the way through enough times that nothing here surprised me. Nothing, well, you know what? One thing did surprise me, and it was the opening of the video and the preoccupation of the video with showing us the fingering of the keyboard lines that they were using in the song. It very much accentuated the fact that they were using a synth. The opening of the song is very clearly an electronic drum beat. Maybe they were signaling that, hey, we're all in on this new synth pop wave of music that the British groups are doing. I always thought of Hall Oates as being more of a rock R&B band type setup, where they had the guitars and the drums, and I don't really think of them as being synth heavy. And it never really occurred to me that this song was so synth heavy either. But once you listen to it, it's like, oh yeah, they're there. I think that's a testament to the songwriting, that you really tune out of all of the instrumental flourishes and you end up focusing on the melodies and the lyrics of the song more so than fixating on what genre it is even. And I think Daryl Hall and John Oates have always done a good job of straddling the line between different genres, because they've never seemed to be preoccupied with what genre of music they were playing. Is it pop? Is it rock? Is it R&B? It doesn't really matter. They're just doing good music. And this is a great example of that. Even though this is synth heavy, it really doesn't feel like a lot of the synth records that were from the British groups that were coming out around the same time. It didn't seem like it was a gimmick. It was just an effective way of bringing out the melodicism of the song, and so I think the arrangement is really fun and funky and organic. Probably the biggest surprise of this record is that it doesn't really feel like a traditionally structured verse chorus type of song. It actually reads more like a series of hooks, or a series of choruses, if you will. Technically, I think there's a verse and a pre-chorus and a chorus, and then those repeat, and then you have the instrumental break, and then you go back into the pre-chorus and chorus. So in execution, it's pretty standard, but the verses are so melodically interesting on their own, and the pre-chorus is so melodically interesting on their own, that any of those three sections could really be the chorus could be popped in as the chorus of a totally different song. And as a matter of fact, the verse here was plopped in as the chorus of another song. And really, even though I was peripherally aware of this record, the first time it really came into focus for me was when the song was sampled by De La Soul about, 11 years later. They actually had a song called Say No Go, which directly lifted that portion of this record. And it was such an effective hook, even though it was buried in the verse, that it ended up effectively being the chorus of the De La Soul song. They rapped throughout the song, and then they just dropped this in as the chorus, and it worked remarkably well. And it also underlined Hall & Oates' R&B bona fides, because they've always had a strong presence on the R&B charts and on R&B radio. To me, I'm hearing a Motown influence here, where the sheer melodic intensity of the song, and by melodic intensity, that I guess that could come off as sort of gibberish, but what I mean by that is there's such a focus here on the melody, and and it's the star of the show here. Turning to the lyrics are not to be dismissed out of hand just because the hooks are so good here. The lyric here is it would be interesting to see how many songs follow this lyrical trajectory, which is essentially about boundaries. Right off the top of my head, I almost chuckled during the song because I thought about how closely this song resembles the Meatloaf song written by Jim Steinman. Is that his name? I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. It's all about the whole content of the song is there's so much I would do for you, for love, for to make this work, but you have asked me to cross a line that I'm not willing to cross, and that's the whole I can't go for that. Like you really want me to buy into this at a level that I'm not ready to buy into it at. And it's funny how both of those songs kind of talk about the same sort of thing in a somewhat similar way. I like the more casual, pedestrian way of dismissing it as John Oates' hand signals in the song "No Can Do," whereas Meatloaf turns it into a freaking opera, which was fun as well and dramatic and a different way of saying it. But I kind of like the more dismissive, like that's not happening. It resonates a little better with me because it is a little bit more nuanced. The decision to set a boundary in a relationship is not one to be taken lightly, and you could turn it into something really dramatic. But the fact that you know in your mind that it's very important, but you're okay expressing it in the song as a more casual kind of that's not happening. It's musically interesting. It captures the way we actually respond to things in the real world a lot of times, where the decision is the decision can be important and it can be something that required a lot of thought, but the way that you let the other person know can be no nonsense and dismissive almost, in a way that lets them know that you're not going to reconsider it. Letting them know all the inner turmoil that you went through to get to that place is a lot of times not a good move. So baking that defensiveness into the way the song is performed is a really cool way of representing real life. So I enjoyed that, and it's also kind of a attitude-y R&B kind of way of going about things. There's a lot of bravado that happens in the context of relationships, and actually portraying that inside of a song instead of every song being this earnest, heartfelt, my life depends on this type of thing every single time you listen to a song. It can be draining. So sometimes having a song that seems more pedestrian, as I call it, seems more like how real life works, can be refreshing and even fun. It's a fun way of talking about this common thing that happens in relationships. So I enjoyed that, if anything, even more than Private Eyes. Private Eyes was a very fun song, but it seemed to be more of a hinge on the lyrical gimmick of the song. This song seems to be more about the melody and about the attitude, which I appreciated. And you're never going to get me in a bad mood with a really nice synth line. And especially if you're showing it on screen in the music video, which makes me feel like I can pull out a keyboard and replicate that if I wanted to. So for all those reasons, this song definitely gets a thumbs up from me, which I don't usually give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, but I do approve of this particular song. And I particularly, it resonates with me much more because I love the De La Soul song so much. But De La Soul had some really good source material to work from when they were crafting that record and dropping this really well placed sample into their song. We're into 1982. Please join me next week for the next number one song of 1982, which I don't have in front of me, so it'll be a surprise to both of us. Join me then. Until then, please like this video if you indeed liked it. Please subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. And please make music better.